Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Dixon here, president of the Direct Selling Executives Forum. Super excited for our panel today. Gail Ansato will be continuing to host our Women in Leadership series. And today's topic, we're going to be unpacking turning fans into promoters for beauty brands. And this question comes up all the time when you have brands that are at Sephora or Amazon or D2C through a Shopify site that are saying, when I open a referral marketing company, like, how does that work? How do I convert fans into promoters of my brand? And as we were exploring this topic, we thought of no one better than to bring Kelly Kovak out to the call today. Now, as I introduce Kelly, for those of you that may not be familiar with Kelly's work, she is the founder and publisher and CEO of Beauty Matter here in the space. There are many, many large direct selling companies that are parts of this cosmetic industry insider group. She's also the podcast host for In the Matter of, and has been an investor, board member, entrepreneur. She is, as LinkedIn says, the eternal beauty entrepreneur in this space. So Kelly, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for just taking a minute of your schedule to join us from beautiful New York.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Well, as the DSEF works, for those of you that are new, whether you're watching on YouTube's podcast stream or if you're here on Spotify, these are forum questions and panels that come from other direct selling and referral marketing executives just like you. And so Gail will be opening up our session and walking us through those questions, and we'll start diving in. So Gail, we'll pass it over to you.
Welcome to the DSEF, everybody. Welcome, Kelly. And today we're going to talk about exactly what Sir Ben said, turning fans into promoters. Beauty brands have a unique advantage when it comes to building a loyal and enthusiastic following. With a multitude of products and trends to explore, fans often become deeply invested in the brand story and offerings.
Sure.
The first question is, many beauty brands are searching for new channels that they can gather customers for their business. When looking into referral marketing specifically as a channel to grow a brand, where would you invite them to start?
Well, it's interesting because referral marketing is sort of a new old channel, right? Especially at least in beauty. Avon is the best example of that. And it's always been a channel that has allowed women to make a living sort of on the side, or, some of them in the married heydays get the pink Cadillac, right? But it's a way to empower women, always has been, to make money. Sort of fast forward to today, Beauty Counter kind of reinvented that direct selling model, pushing it into the digital age. And now, as beauty has become increasingly competitive, as you said, everyone's looking for a new channel. I think social media has opened up the ability for almost anyone to be an influencer. Like, some people make careers out of it, but we all influence someone, even if it's just our immediate circle. So I think what brands sort of are trying to capture is that word of mouth with some virality to it. And, I think it's a high margin channel, obviously. So unlocking it comes not only with deeper relationships, but revenue that gives you nicer margins. And you can also very often take this channel and redirect it to brick and mortar retail. If you have sort of those super fans that are just engaged in sort of the brand and its success.
That's such a powerful thought when you think about how it's been reinvented. You've seen brands even create line extensions at times that are only available through the referral marketing channel and not available at the brick and mortar, but under the same brand. What's been some of your thoughts on those types of strategies, Kelly?
Well, I think that number one, it's a way of rewarding these sort of highly engaged super fans, if you will. Because I think even people who may be sort of making a living out of sort of referral marketing for a brand, at the end of the day, they're a super fan of the brand. It's rarely just opportunistic. They've chosen to align themselves with this brand. And I think that now I've lost track of the question you even asked me. I'm sorry, I was just rambling on.
The important point you just made, though, is that there are referral marketing brands in the space that market themselves as business opportunities and primarily work to go attract people who want to make income to then, hey, come promote our great stuff. And that's not what we see in beauty. What we see in beauty is people who are fans of a product or service who say, oh, wow, I can be an ambassador for this product or service and earn some extra income. And the one strategy piece, and we get asked about all the time, is, if this is a brand that's already selling on Amazon or it's a brand that's already at Sephora, they say, well, do we just take our same products and same brand into referral marketing, or do we create, a at-home brand or another sub-brand that is not available in brick and mortar? It's not available on Amazon, but it is through your beauty consultant, and you've been through that a number of times. So just wanted to hear your thoughts on that before we move into some of the other questions from the forum.
Yeah, I don't think it's a one size fits all sort of answer.
Fair.
I think it's the same with any channel, right? You have to do what's right for the brand, and have a strategy that makes sense as a piece of a whole. I don't think developing a sub brand is necessary. I think it is. I mean, if you're big enough, could it make sense? Potentially. You're sort of starting from scratch with new products, perhaps a new identity. I think perhaps the closest sort of maybe strategy to follow would be to follow what people do on Amazon very often is sort of edit it to heroes. So you're using it as a customer acquisition tool, trying to convert with your hero product. So I think you can do sort of an edited assortment. I think you can play around with kitting and sizing to create value or exclusivity for sort of this direct selling channel. I also think
I love that thought.
Yeah, I think depending on how large the channel is, you could also seed concepts, right? So if you're in a big retailer, launching a product is making a big bet financially.
Sure.
So if you have this direct selling channel of people who are highly engaged, you could seed a launch there, sort of get some early feedback, refine it before you take it to sort of a more traditional channel. It's another strategy.
One of the kitting examples, I just want to expand on that before we go to the next question real quick, because I love that you said that. We have a client been blessed to work with through Naxum out of Frisco, Texas, who did exactly that for the referral marketing influencer strategy. Their cost of goods to create these new SKUs for the influencers was literally a bag. It was a plastic bag with the influencer's face on it. And it was Joanna's kit and Deborah's kit. Okay, I won't say what the actual kit's name were for that client, but what I loved is they didn't invent any new SKUs or flavors or colors for those influencers. They literally said, okay, influencer Joanna, these are the 7 SKUs you love from our brand. And they put them in a bag, okay, and called it a kit. And you think of this for a second, Brands. This is just what Kelly's saying. And then they let the referral marketers exclusively market that kit with the influencer's face on it. And they didn't have to invest in new product labeling or all of the costs that come into repositioning a new brand. But if you wanted that kit, you had to do it through the sales funnel. That was referral marketing channel. So just
another use for the channel is dealing with obsolete inventory. So if you do a package change or you do sort of a reformulation, very often you'll end up with, it's not stock, it's perfectly fine stock, right? And before it's ended up sort of in the gray market, or you send it to a discount retailer and hope no one sees it. But you could also sort of liquidate the inventory in a way that does no damage to the brand, to an audience that would really appreciate it. So I think
Box of the Month Club. I've seen that so many times. The mystery box of the month club, gang, is solid for people who want something fun to try. And what Kelly just said, it's a great way. You got some of that inventory that's not a SKU you're leveraging more funds into.
I think the channel is only limited by your creativity, honestly.
Agreed. Good thoughts.
These are such great insights. And the next question, Kelly, is actually, what are some of the pitfalls that you've seen brands run into when they expand into referral marketing specifically?
I think the biggest pitfall I see is having a purely transactional approach, right? Just sort of, I think it's the same pitfall that a lot of brands with the emergence of D2C fall into. It's focusing on that customer acquisition and not really focused on what happens next. You got them, they're in the funnel, you push them through the funnel, you convert, and then you're on to the next, right? I think that referral marketing, when it really, really works, is built on community, and community takes time to nurture. Acknowledging people, it's really developing a relationship with the people who love your brand.
And that's such a powerful thought, because the brand, the brand who can spend the most to acquire the customer gets the customer many times. And if you're only thinking about that initial purchase, it's a little Russell Brunson 101 for everybody, right? If you're only thinking about that initial purchase in your value ladder of all the other lifetime value of the customer, things you could sell, you don't get those unless you create the relationship, deliver value, and allow people to come in special. So we've seen all kinds of unique tools in referral marketing, like someone purchasing a single SKU and then taking a quiz or a test and saying, oh, wow, well, we didn't run, but guess what? This, you swapping out your hair conditioner and shampoo would help you as well. You came to us for lipstick, but wow, you should really try our shampoo and conditioner. And you don't get those opportunities unless you do that work and use some of the amazing automation systems that are available in the space today. I love that. Great, great thought, Kelly. It's good stuff.
Thank you for that. The next question is, you see a lot of strategy from your work at beautymatter.com. What strategies have caught your attention that you'd like other executives to share and explore themselves?
Mm-hmm.
I think the strategies that are working now are brands that are taking these online relationships. So taking the efficiencies of online, but taking the creation or relationship building offline. I think we've all gotten very comfortable just like chatting on a screen, right? But in real world, you can have conversations that are very different. And I think they're a little stickier. So I think brands that sort of reward their followers with immersive experiences. They can be educational, they can be entertaining, but doing it in sort of, a real world environment, and really focused on creating, that omni-channel strategy, which isn't going away. It's one of those words that people throw around without sometimes really thinking about, okay, I'm doing X. How am I going to amplify this across every touch point and bring it back? So I think those things are working. I also feel like brands, there's this new crop of brands that are approaching this mantra of demographics are dead. The beauty industry loves to chase youth. I think it's like ingrained in our DNA. It's in our marketing. It's in how we develop products. It's everywhere. And I think, there's constantly this chasing the latest, greatest, youngest cohort. It was millennials. Now it's Gen X. We're already talking about Gen Alpha. These kids are like 7 years old. I mean, it's a little insane. But as we do that, we're forgetting about Gen X, the like forgotten cohort. And, I think there are some brands that are like, hey, demographics are dead. It's not about how old you are. It's a mindset. And I think sort of nothing could be sort of more powerful than in a referral marketing channel, where sort of the demographics or the assumptions around a demographic purely based on age fall away. And it is about a community that coalesces around a thing. It could be a brand with Beauty Counter. It's a cause. It's clean beauty. They've created this army of clean beauty advocates that march on Washington. But I think when you go beyond, my consumer is 35 to 45 or whatever it is, and really get to know them and lean into that, or lean into developing multiple communities, kind of subcultures of your brand, and sort of play up different elements or highlight different people in your brand to connect with those communities. I think that's when it gets really sticky and really interesting.
I completely agree. And so important today to connect with your consumers and show them a different light as opposed to the traditional way of marketing a product or a service. So we hosted an entire panel session about the power of doing good for a certain brand. How important is it to connect to a cause, to your offer for today's consumers in the referral marketing channel?
On one hand, I think it's table stakes. I think it is the right thing for any business, be sort of a good corporate global citizen. We all live on this planet and should participate in sort of in the collective good, if you will. I think that it's not going away. I think consumers, especially younger consumers, expect it, but they also expect authenticity around it. So I would say while it's table stakes, I would say don't do it if you don't really mean it, because it's going to blow up in your face. So find one thing that really means something to you, or one thing that you can commit to as a business, and ingrain it not in your product sale, but in the culture of your business. And, do your part. I mean, I think businesses, I think we all have that responsibility, and it shouldn't purely be tied to just making money.
Well, and Kelly, it's such an important thought. There's all kinds of data today that, just like you mentioned, Beauty Counter's commitment to clean beauty is an example, right? That's a big reason of why people stay so long and want to be a part of everything Counter so long. We've seen other beauty brands, fight human trafficking with part of every purchase inside of their sale, and it does make a difference. It's a remarkable difference to have people be a part of a cause bigger than themselves that they can see a real contribution to, of being a better person. And so it is so much more than, yes, being a good global citizen, but also taking the things that you as a founder or as an executive team believe will make a big difference in this world, and allowing your tribe to participate in that is a powerful thought.
It's not only your consumers, it's your employees as well. Especially younger generations want to work for companies that stand for something.
Yep.
I think it's the right thing to do, but it's also good for business when it's done with the right intention.
And gang, as you're listening to that thought today, I couldn't echo that more. Kelly's thoughts were sentimented by, we had Cindy Monroe, founder of 31 Gifts, the direct selling company, on a panel. Just last year, we had Sam Castor from previously founder of Manatech, Peter Hirsch from Increase, unpacking that thought for an entire 1-hour session with all three of them there. So what we'll do is, Gail, let's link to that show in the show notes, just as an example. So folks who want to expand on Kelly's thought of, hey, it's not just the right thing to do, it's good for business. I'd love people to hear how doing good is good for business from three people who've done that for literally decades in the space, because it truly is a differentiator amongst you and your peers at times. If someone's thinking, oh, yeah, do I really need to have a do good part of my business? Yes.
Well, I also, when we launched Beauty Matter, people who know me, like, I always have a soapbox moment going on at all times. And when we launched Beauty Matter, for me, it started around voting, because I think voting is important. I don't care who you vote for, just vote.
Yeah, everybody.
And and also sort of educating businesses that they play a role in that not incorporating it in your HR sort of offering. Most people don't vote because they have to work. So you give people time off was kind of what we were trying to educate against. But then what we realized was, hey, we don't have the bandwidth. We're a small self-funded company, but what we do have, we have an audience and we have a platform. So what we decided to do to sort of do our part was to align ourselves with other organizations that are doing good and help amplify their work. So we work with Pact Collective. We work with the Independent Beauty Association. We work with the British Beauty Council. So we try and amplify the work of other people to educate our audience. And that is how we thought we could be the most effective, rather than sort of aligning ourselves with one cause and creating sort of this just like dovetails into our platform, rather than sort of creating a separate platform.
Well, and that's also just another good note, Kelly. Sometimes I think a lot of organizations think they need to create a charitable foundation. They think they have to do it all themselves. Now go have to run this other thing. And sometimes that's not the case at all. Sometimes they can pick 2 or 3 causes or one cause that they're passionate about, that another organization's already doing a good job solving that need, and they can just contribute to, and it's a good thing. And so I've seen that with clients all over the board, from Wounded Warrior Project to sponsoring orphans overseas to all kinds of stuff here in the States. And it is good to know your lane of what you do to create value, and you don't need the ego of it all being you at the end of the day, is a powerful reminder to everyone on the show. Yeah, I just want to just say thank you so much, Kelly, for just taking some time out of your crazy busy schedule to be here with us today. There's no greater gift than time in our community, our world today. And so we appreciate you and the work you do, and what you're doing for beauty entrepreneurs around the world. As those of you that are new to even hearing about Kelly's work, you can check it out at beautymatter.com. If you're new to the DSEF and have not yet subscribed to the LinkedIn group, it's an invite-only group for direct selling executives. Go to directSellingExecutiveForum.com or type in Direct Selling Executive Forum on LinkedIn, and you can subscribe. It's absolutely free, and it's full of more content, just like the stuff we got the chance to cover today. If you have questions you'd like the forum to answer, post them in the forum. That's where this stuff comes from. So if you want to know how we actually know what to talk about, it's from you. So we really appreciate each of you as members for being here today, and are looking forward to more great times on our next session. With that, I want to thank you so much for being here today, Kelly. Thank you, Gail, for hosting the show. Wishing everyone all the best. We'll talk with you soon. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Bye.